Welcome to the show. This is Uncensored with D. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Hope you had. We're going to start the show off today with some things that have happened in the news over the week. I know you guys heard some that has happened. We're going to talk about this thing that happened out in Minnesota. That's going to be the main topic, though, that we're going to talk about real quick. Um, what happened out there was really tragic. I would like to say first, my blessings and prayers go to the family of the young lady murdered, it looks like out there. The thing is with that, the whole situation with that is tragic. It's very tragic. And as I've seen the video, I've seen the new video they put out. I mean, I look at it from this standpoint where when that happened, and I thought about this before I came on here, before I say what I'm going to say, as being negligent on both sides. One even more than the other, because obviously there was a life taken. Now, looking at that video at that day, the whole thing with the ice, uh, she and her wife, um, I see that and I think to myself like her wife. Yes, okay. Law enforcement, and you've seen that these people were obviously not in the best of moods. You should have just never even tried to integrize the situation. That's one. Okay. The guy that unalived her, when they got out of that car and they tried to, yank her out the car and telling her to get out of the car, and for the guy that unalived her. Now, look, I'm not a law enforcement. I'm not into law enforcement. I don't know the rule, but I do know common sense. And for that officer, why would you shoot into a moving car? Okay, that's first of all, a moving car. That's in it. You shot into a moving car. That moving car, when you shot in our lighter, crashed into a parked car. Now, hypothetically saying, let's say there was somebody in a cow. People, when reality is, you could have just let her gone about her business, her and her wife. You got her license plate. There's cameras everywhere nowadays. You could have just picked her up at her house and charged whatever it is you think that she did that was wrong. He didn't do that. I think the guy was already agitated, so he needed a reason to do what he did, and she gave it to them in the face. You're doing that with other ways you could have stopped that situation. You could have just moved out the way. You could have shot her tires. You could have forced the car to scare her. Any of that could have been done besides the fatal shooting. And then the fact of that, in the video, one of the pedestrians, and he offered help, and they denied the help, which is at the end of it has to be done with the situation. But like I said, this has happened so many times, and we know how this goes. This will be in the news for a few weeks, months, and then it'll just disappear, be another headline, gone. Family will get paid out. The guy will never hear from again or hear about again. Too many of the times this has happened, and I'm just, this whole thing it's going to turn tragic. It's going to turn really bad tragic because the ICE agents, from my standpoint, from what I'm seeing, and I've seen videos of them pulling people out of the car and doing, it just seems like the laws are not towards them, and they have the red light to do as as what they please. Now, I'm not on here promoting violence, but at the end of the day, you can only continue doing that so long before people start pushing back, and then we have an all full out war here on the streets in America. Now, I'm not sitting here. I'm gonna say this allegedly. Allegedly, I've read way before this whole ISIS stuff started that a certain somebody over in Washington is wanting this to happen, a war on the streets of America, so they can do the martial law and have control, completely control. My thing is to people in America right now, especially right now. This is got to be the something. This is no longer about race. It's no longer about race. No longer about color. This is about people in America being targeted. And this is the part where you would think people would come together and see where the problem lies. It's not about left and right. It's not about that. It comes to the point where you got to realize yourself whether you're a Democrat or a Republican about us here. Our how can I put this? We the little people. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. Do you think Donald Trump gives a care what happened to that woman out there? No, he got on. You guys know what he said on his on the. I'm not going to repeat what he said. That is a person that doesn't care. He's not the only one. I'm not just pointing out Donald Trump. There, I've said this on my last broadcast. It's not just Donald Trump. It's the whole government. They don't care. They don't care what happens to the people, the little people out here. If it's not affecting their family and not affecting them, they don't care. But that's the way they're going. Allowing people to push you around, that is a form of bullying. And I'm sorry to say this, but it seems like this minister, we can't fight against each other. We have to see the common threat. And it's not race, it's not about color, it's the common threat. And the common threat is for that administration or any government form to divide. That's how they win. It's divide. They divide us, get us choosing what sides to be on, and that's crazy. You know, it's crazy when you look at what happened over there. So then I see some of the comments of people how divided we are. Well, she deserves it, and she's a love. Nobody deserves to die that like that. Whether she was a lefty, righty, Democrat, Republican, nobody like that. That's where people. That just tells you how far gone we are when we start like that and applauding stuff like that because we're picking sides. That's exactly what they want. It's a horrible time, and fortunately, that won't be the last time something like this happened. Um, like I said, it's been happening for a very long time. I read somewhere allegedly, I'm now don't know how true this is, that where that took place was a few blocks away from where George Floyd got murdered by an officer in Minnesota. I mean, how come that's convenient? That's too convenient. That's crazy that that is true. Um, like I said, this to me personally, I think everybody should be on top of it because this is no longer a race thing, obviously. And I'm gonna keep saying that. I'm saying that for a reason because when we get the hint that hey, they're not for us, we have to come together. Back in 2020 when the COVID virus started, I me personally, I thought that was the time that everybody was going to come together and see, hey, they really are trying to eliminate us. Let's come together and figure out a way to over to stop this. No, you know what happened during 2020, during the COVID, the pandemic, the lock-ins? That's right. We went back to like it was the 60s, and then all of a sudden we have a race war starting with the whole George Floyd people protesting, the people taking sides, and you not see people not see what they do. This is what they go back to. When they think they have a chance, that we have a chance to come together, they hit us with a race card and it divides us even more. It's it's crazy how they can use things like this. Now, this case in Minnesota, me personally, I think they're going to use this. Um, like I said, it's the same thing. They're gonna tell the family to sign and the documents to never discuss this again about this. You know, it'll get media attention, and then it'll be swept under the rug, just like every other things that have been done, swept under the rug. Been nothing been solved until the next time something happens. You know, it's crazy. I think about I read that she had kids. I think about her kids. Like this is a it's sad because this is a cycle that continues to happen. And her kid has to grow up without a mother. And the video is out there on the internet. Everybody knows whatever's on the internet stays on the internet. So her kid is gonna have to should have never taken place. You know, my thoughts on the ice about them doing the stuff that they're doing. I don't agree with it. I don't think it shouldn't. They should even be out here doing what they're doing. There's legals here, and that's another topic for another day that I'm not gonna say it is. Hey, if that is the case, then it seems like what I'm seeing, they're attacking a lot of American citizens too. So I've said this before when this all started. This is more than just getting rid of legals. It's a lot more than that, and they know what they know what they're doing. Me personally, I think this is all about control. It's all over control. It's all about controlling cities, controlling having full control. And don't be surprised somewhere down the line, yes, martial law will probably be into play somewhere down the line because that's what this is all going looking like it's leading up to. You know, I take it like I said, I was saying the other day talking to someone, it's gonna take something major to happen before it's an all-out war. You can see it brewing. You can tell the tension is coming. It's coming. And when that happened, you basically giving them the rights to do what they wanted. And this is what this has been from day one with all this is to have control. And when you set up martial law, you have complete control, and they won. That's basically what that this is boiling down to. You know, I don't know. I don't know where that situation is gonna go. But like I said, that was in the news that I know everybody has heard and saw, and everybody has their opinions on it. Like I said, I think it was both. It was negligence on both sides. You know, like I said, they should have just never gotten involved with that. Should have just let them go. Should have never blocked them off. And if you're gonna do stuff like that, me personally, I would have just got out of my car and just, hey, if they're gonna put me in jail, I'd rather be in jail than dead on the news and being show recorded being shot at. That's one. Two, the officer should have never did that. You don't shoot in a moving car. And yes, I seen the video. To me, it doesn't look like she was trying to hit him. It looked like her wheels was turned the other way. I've looked at the video several times. I don't see it. If it's something I'm missing, then I apologize, but I don't see it. I think, like I said, I think he was mad. He was agitated because of this past situation when they got stuck in the snow and they were chasing somebody else. I think they were already heated about that, and wife and the woman that was unalive was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and should have never have jumped in that situation. Not making excuses for the officer that did that. 'Cause like I said, you shouldn't have shot in the car. That to me looks like it was murder. You know, and towards the end. You have the balls to sit there and call her a bitch after you have shot into the car and killed her. Look, when I look at that video, I think of things that happen in other countries, third world countries, when you see civilians getting murdered by soldiers in other countries. That's exactly what it looks like in that video. It looks just like we're in a third world country and people are getting murdered in the streets, pulled out of their houses and homes. Is that what we've come to as an American? I mean, that's that. I thought we fought against stuff like that in other countries. We didn't like it, but it seemed like this is happening here in our own backyard right now. It's a sad situation, and hopefully things will change. But for change to happen, people have to wake up and stop thinking this is about choosing sides and 'cause it's not. It's not. I've always said this and I keep saying this. When shit hit the fan, when shit hit the real top of the fan, do you really think the people that you guys put in office, I don't care who it is, Democrat, Republican, yeah, I keep saying this, doesn't matter. Do you really think they got your back? Do you really think? No, they don't. They don't. They do not have your back. They'll be the first ones gone and hiding before you even know the day it is at your front, front lawn. I've said that years, and I've been saying this is the reason why I laugh. And hey, everybody's gonna do what they want, but this is why I laugh when people get so heated over debates on politics and thinking that their votes and everything matters when in reality it really does not matter. And like I said, it's a sad situation with everything that's going on. Um, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I see people making comments of telling, saying this is what a lot of people voted for. This is who you guys want into the office. Hey, look, like I said, the voting thing is a joke to me, and people are gonna have their opinions. Um, but one thing I am gonna say about the situation in Minnesota, you have to be very blind and naive not to see what that was and to sit up here and justify that. That I'm not gonna sit up here and I said from the start, everybody has their opinion, everybody has their how they look at things, but if you could look at that and see that that wasn't what it was, justify that, then that's you have to take a look at yourself and say it could have been anybody. That could have been a mother, family members of of anybody, you know. So we're gonna see how that plays out. Um, Hopefully they do the right thing. They investigate that and do it the right way. If it turns out it is what it is with murder, then hopefully that person be charged correctly and receive the punishment they deserve. Hopefully, hopefully this does not turn into another sweeping under the rug payout and never talked about again. Because when you do stuff like that, it's not solving anything. It's just putting a band-aid over a wound, which is stays there and it's still ripping away. So we're gonna see how that plays out. Another thing that I'd like to talk about, real quick. This is a local situation that happened. There was a missing teacher out in Chicago that went missing. Um, she's a white female married to a black male. The reason why I say this because there are comments that were made when the lady went missing, blaming the husband, saying the husband that knew what happened. His when he got on TV, he wasn't seeming like he was so concerned about it. Here's the thing. happened, I was the first to say, yeah, the husband probably had something to do it because everybody knows when something like that points the finger at the spouse. Too many times we've seen that movie when this has happened. But then I see where people are making comments because of, once again, this being a race thing. And she's white, he's black, and automatically no, 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 no. To me, this once again, it goes back to it's a spouse thing. That's the way I look at it. Now, I don't know what happened to the young lady. They said she was a school teacher. She had mental illness. There is now a video that was released showing that she was in her car over by Lakeshore Drive. She gets out of her car, walks towards the lake, and never to be seen again. So, I mean, hopefully she's found safe. But to me, in cases like this, she's been gone since I think January 3rd. Hopefully she's found safe, but we've seen this movie before. My point is, don't judge a book by its cover, and that's too many times we've done that too. We do that. You know, I said that I think he did it because of his spouse. We've seen that movie too, where the spouse has done it. Yes, he got on. They interviewed him. It did not seem like he was concerned. It seemed like it was a act that was put on. That's the reason why I said that. Yeah, it seems like he did have something to do with it. I mean, it wasn't because of the fact that he was black and she was a white woman, because it could have been he was black and she was black. It still just seems like you had something to do with it. But now people are trying to make this into, once again, we go back to the race card thing, and it's just, dude, this is 2026. We really need to stop with the race thing. It's just it's old, it's tiring, and after a while, it's just is that the only thing we have to fight over is because of it's a sad situation when it comes to this. People go missing, people be killed right on the camera, and yet we could turn this whole thing into a whole race and political thing instead of what it really is. It's sad. It's sad that how it all comes down to. But enough of that. Um, I would like to say, 'cause like I said, this podcast is not just about the drama that happens in the news. I do know the Chicago Bears will be playing today against Green Bay. Um, not a Bears fan, not at all a Bears fan. Me, I'm a Tom Brady fan. Obviously, he's not playing anymore. I haven't really watched since Tom Brady has left. I do wish the Bears luck, and it would be nice if they do advance and make something happen this year. We will see how that goes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Like I said, I want to get out here and talk about those main topics right now. Like I said, I hope you guys have a good week for listening today. We'll be live again later on today. I'm gonna try to do two shows today because of the week. I really didn't record this week because of a busy week. Like I said, I was trying to make a Saturday being my most time that I'm broadcasting, so I'm gonna try to do another show today. See where that goes. But if not, I want you guys to enjoy your Saturday. And remember, every day above ground is a good day. Um, be part of the change. That's all I can say with people. Be part of the change, the good change, not the negative change. Treat each other right because we only we are only here for a short time. And yeah, we've got to do better, people. That's all I'm going to say. We have to do better, and that's why you guys enjoy your Saturday. Thanks for listening. I will see you soon. Thank you.